Hey guys, I'm Esthetician Trish McCarty. I do a lot of dermaplaning, so you'll see a lot of dermaplaning videos here on my channel. And I will always get comments of people like telling me off saying, "Oh my gosh, you're going to cut their face. You're not doing it right." Well, excuse me, I've been doing this over 10 years. It's kind of hard to believe that I'm so bad at it and yet don't nick people's skin. I don't hurt their skin. Wow, how unbelievable. Seriously, people are so excited to tell you that you're doing something wrong. Usually what they point out is there's a circle on the Dermaplane Pro handle. And I tend to not put my thumb and my index right exactly 100% on that circle. And people lose it. Well, guess what? When you have long fingers like me, that's not always comfortable. And we're all designed a little differently. And if I hold it the way that everybody else holds it or is told to hold it, that's when I have made mistakes in the past. That's when I've nicked people's skin in the past, trying to do it exactly as Dermaplane Pro recommends. But usually it's more comfortable for me to hold it right under the circle. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, I hope you all can calm down. You may notice that the client is talking to me a little bit throughout. If you notice, I'm still able to hold her skin completely taut. I'm able to hold it still. I'm able to work. However, if she was moving around a lot, if she was making too many harsh facial movements, I would ask her to not talk. You're allowed to tell the client that they cannot talk at all during a dermaplaning treatment if you feel more comfortable. But like I said, I've been doing this a hot minute. I'm really good at watching the client's body language and being able to react to that. And I always remind the client, hey, I have a blade. It's right by your face. If you make a move suddenly, that could cause your skin to be cut. And sometimes you do have to scare them if they are not listening, or even stop the service, which fortunately I've never had to do. Typically, if I tell someone, hey, this could cut your face, even though it seems extremely obvious, sometimes you have to say the obvious to get people to be safe. And you have to be safe. You have to protect your license. Basically, my best tip is always make sure the skin is taut. Always, always, always. Pull the skin taut, hold it at about a 45-degree angle. That will keep your blade from dulling down. That will get a close treatment. That will get an even treatment. All the good things that you want. Typically, I start with the forehead on almost every client, but I changed it up today for video purposes and to get the fun stuff quickly. But anyway, the forehead can be pretty easy because it's typically a flatter surface to work with. However, if someone's very expressive and raises their eyebrows as they talk to you, you are going to have to tell them that they cannot talk while you dermaplane that area, or that they're going to have to hold still. But if they keep raising their brows and talking, you're just going to have to tell them that they have to not talk, because then at that point it gets too risky. But typically this area is fairly easy to do, assuming they're not talking and using too much expression with their eyebrows. Also, be very careful around the eyebrows. You don't want to take one off. That would be terrible. I get as close as I can just because people appreciate having that cleanliness around their brows. Now, I will not shape them as if they went to a waxing service. I might clean them up a little bit where it's easy to reach, but don't try to shape them up because that's just too risky. I have some women who ask me to go completely over their eyebrows. those are typically older women who have tattooing and who no longer grow hair for eyebrows and who had the microblading or just straight tattooed eyebrows on, and they get very few hairs in between the tattooing, and they will ask me to go over it. I don't love to do that because that could fade the tattooing, which a lot of them want the fading and they ask me to. That's up to you, but it definitely lightens the pigment over time. So if you know the person well, maybe it's okay, but you don't want them to blame you later and be like, oh, you messed up my eyebrows. You messed up my microblading. Well, you're the one that told me to go over it. I haven't had a problem. I only have a couple ladies that asked me to do that, and I've known them for so long, and they've just always had me do this for years, so it's no big deal to me. I get asked all the time, what products do I use for dermaplaning? Which solution and which blades? I'm going to show you and tell you. I use the Dermaplane Pro AHA, BHA prep solution. I have for years. I love it. I haven't had any issues with it. Oftentimes, though, I will take the prep solution on a gauze and then I'll add some grapeseed oil in with it to make it a little more moisturizing, because I've had some clients say, ugh, that kind of stings a little, and it's a little much for sensitive skin. So that just cuts down on the irritation, I find. So as long as the person's not extremely oily, if they're a lot drier, I definitely use grapeseed oil with it, but I always combine them because I do think that AHA, BHA helps a lot to prevent like razor burn and overall like the rash or irritation from shaving, what that would do without something, if that makes sense. I just find that to be the best for me. Again, I'm sure someone's going to comment down below telling me how special I am and how I don't know what I'm doing. That's fine. Go ahead and say what you want. This is just what I do. My favorite blades are from Dermaplane Pro, and they are the 10D blade. I do not like the R blade. Now, I think the R blade is great for a beginner who's not confident yet and who's really scared to nick someone. I think there's a time and place for that blade, and that is a great place to start when you are a beginner. But once you've done this for 10 years or more, you're going to be really annoyed by that 10R blade. So you're going to be more like me and have had so much experience that you want a blade that's going to get the job done. And that's going to be your 10D blade. It's a lot more sharp. It stays sharp longer. I love that they're stainless steel. I just love them. You can typically use 1 to 2 per face. They say that if you use a 45-degree angle, you'll definitely get it for one full treatment. But I tend to still grab a second blade because it just makes my life easier, because I don't care. It does dull down. Whether you are perfectly holding it at a 45-degree angle, and time is money, y'all. You got to get to your next person, but you also don't want to rush through this. But you need a good tool for the job. And see how I'm going around the lip here? I'm holding it very taut. You want to take small little strokes up the upper lip. Same with the nose. You have to make little small strokes. And see here, I'm having the client open her mouth. Why? Because that tightens everything more. And you can get in the corner of their lips really well. And you want to do this, especially for the ladies who wear lipstick, because they're going to have little teeny tiny hairs. And that lipstick's going to stick right in there. So this just helps give a nice, fresh, clean look. And I can't tell you how many clients say, I will only ever come to you because you never miss anything. I'm shocked at how many people have told me they went to these very high-end spas in the area, paying way more than I charge, which is funny. And then they come out with a mustache. They come out with chin hairs that they have to tweeze. No, you do not leave work for the client to do. That is what they're paying you for. If you want to be an expert at this, you have got to do it completely. I'm just blown away at how many times I hear that one. And just, there's so many estheticians that lack confidence, but yet they're still charging really expensive pricing to give a half job. And that's just wrong. And it makes every esthetician look bad, and it makes clients never even want to give someone else a chance. So I don't like it because, like I said, it just makes us all look bad. Now here on the chin, just hold it taut. You do have to be really careful because it's curved, obviously. So making little teeny, short, gentle strokes. You can get the chin and jawline. It's okay. Don't get scared. Just take your time. Do not skip the chin. People will not come back to you. Trust me. They'll come to me instead. They tell me. Yummy! Here it is. It's off the face, and now your client has bright, smooth, even skin. And they're going to be super happy when they look in the mirror and touch their face. They're just going to feel wonderful. See you later. Bye.